Good morning, everybody. Welcome. We're going to give you just a minute to warm up. We'll introduce you to Slido and then we'll get started.
We just have some fun icebreaker questions, so feel free to get into Slido from the QR code and put in your dream holiday destination. And this is an icebreaker in practice for questions. This is how we'll field questions during the Q&A also. All right, it's 8:32. Shall we get started?
All right, let's go ahead and get started. We have just a few housekeeping tips. ASL interpreters are provided today. Uh, if you're interested in using captioning, you can click on the arrow in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. We are going to disable chat during the presentation just to reduce distractions. And each talk is going to be followed by a Q&A. Questions are going to be submitted through Slido, and the QR code is shared before each Q&A session, just as you saw with this previous practice session. Questions are going to be moderated behind the scenes, not because we're cherry picking questions, but because we're looking for general themes, and we'll be pushing those questions forward on the back end. So you may see that your question is in review. That's what it's going to look like from your end. We'll try to answer as many questions as possible, and hopefully we'll get to all of them. But if not, we'll just do our absolute best to answer all of them. And last but not least, a link with your participant packet was included in your reminder email. That's where you're going to find all of the information about today's symposium, including continuing education, all of your PowerPoint slides, as well as evaluation information. And one more thing that I'm going to add to that, if you are hoping to receive credit for today's session, it's absolutely necessary for you to sign in with both a first and last name. So if you look at the list of participants on the right-hand side of your screen and your name is listed as only a first name, we cannot verify who you are. So if you right-click on your name, you will be able to edit your name so that you can put in both first and last name. Please do so. Um, Without further ado, I'm going to turn this, actually, we're going to do a quick practice Slido so you're very familiar with how we're going to do this today. So you can either scan this QR code if you didn't use the practice with sharing your dream holiday destination, or you can go to slido.com and enter UHL 2025. Toledo, Ohio, Oregon. I know we have people joining us from all over the country. I think we even have folks from outside of the United States. Yeah, we have Virginia, Ohio, Oregon, Mississippi. My literal basement. I love it. I hope many of you are joining in your pajamas with coffee in hand and Girl Scout cookies in the other. Now we have UK,
Istanbul.
Istanbul. Yeah.
All right.
Welcome. Welcome, everybody. All right. And now we want to get a little, we want to know a little bit more about who you are. Good information for our presenters. Okay. A lot of audiologists in the house today. All right. Well, welcome, everybody. We're so glad that you could be with us. I'm going to move on to our land acknowledgement today. I know you can read, but I'm going to read this to you anyways. Seattle Children's Hospital acknowledges that we are on the traditional unceded land of the Coast Salish people, including the Duwamish people, past and present. We honor with gratitude the land itself and the Duwamish tribe. This acknowledgement does not take the place of authentic relationships with Indigenous communities, but serves as one way to honor the land we are on. Now, I'm going to turn it over to our fearless leader, Dr. Kathy C., Director Extraordinaire of the Childhood Communication Center.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our annual symposium from the Childhood Communication Center at Seattle Children's. First, I just want to say thank you to Lisa Herber and our entire team, our AV team, and our interpreters for all the hard work that goes into making this kind of presentation possible. And we chose the topic of unilateral hearing loss for this symposium for a number of reasons, but this group of kids has really has posed a lot of interesting questions for us. In the old days, we were diagnosing kids with unilateral hearing loss when they were having issues in school, and with newborn hearing screen, it really brought in a whole new age for us as providers who help these kids and for the kids themselves. And then the changes in technology have really made different options available. And then there's the issue that unilateral hearing loss is not unilateral hearing loss is not unilateral hearing loss. There's unilateral conductive hearing loss, single-sided deafness. So all these different issues raise a lot of questions and challenges for us. And it is really a privilege that we have Dr. Tharp to provide up to date the most relevant research for us. And then we have our incredible local team who will provide some of the clinical studies we are doing and the clinical options for these kids. So I'm looking forward to this. When I heard that Dr. Tharp agreed to be our keynote speaker, I asked the team, the Dr. Tharp. So next slide, please. Dr. Tharp is, let's see, next slide. So this is the agenda today that you all have, and it's my privilege to introduce Dr. Anne Marie Tharp, who I've heard her name, read her papers. She really has provided some of the seminal work in unilateral hearing loss and a classic paper in pediatrics that I quote all the time, I think from 1984, really bringing to light in the days before unilateral hearing loss, or before universal newborn hearing screening, the issues that these kids faced. And so she is a professor in the Department of Hearing and Speech Sciences and the Department of Otolaryngology, Head and Neck Surgery at Vanderbilt School of Medicine. She's the chair of the Department of Hearing and Speech Sciences. She has really contributed over decades some important research on which we base our recommendations and our understanding of these kids. So with that, I'll introduce Dr. Tharp. Thank you.